The 14th juz of the Quran mainly comprises of the 16th chapter of the Quran, Surah Al-Nahl, the chapter of the bee, which is a Meccan surah which primarily focuses on the various favors that Allah has bestowed upon mankind. These reminders are meant to act as an impetus for us to be grateful servants to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and therefore worship Him. Towards the beginning of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions numerous benefits and numerous things that Allah has created for mankind. Livestock, for example.
وَالْأَنْعَامَ خَلَقَهَا
The livestock He has created for you.
لَكُمْ فِيهَا دِفْءٌ وَمَنَافِعُ وَمِنْهَا تَأْكُلُونَ.
You take your warmth from them, you have many benefits, and you eat from them as well, meaning you consume their meat. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the various other acts of grace that He has bestowed upon mankind and favors and blessings such as water, the seas, the oceans, the mountains, the food that we eat, and numerous other benefits. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then concludes by mentioning,
وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا.
that if you were to try and enumerate the blessings of Allah, you will not be able to do so.
إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَغَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's the all-forgiving and the merciful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala later on in the surah, He speaks about the bee, this small tiny creature that Allah has created. But it's a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which really demonstrates to us the immense care that Allah has for His creation in the way that He provides for us. This small tiny creature Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used to create for us many benefits.
يخرج من بطونها شراب مختلف ألوانه فيه شفاء للناس.
As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, sharabun, like you can drink from the honey, fihi shifa, and also it contains shifa, it contains a cure for your ailments and illnesses.
إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يتفكرون.
Indeed, in that you will find there is a sign for people who think and they reflect. And towards the end of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us an example in a great prophet of Allah, Ibrahim alayhi salam.
إن إبراهيم كان أمة قانتا لله حنيفا ولم يك من المشركين.
That Ibrahim was an entire nation in terms of worship and devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he was not from the idolaters.
شاكرا لأنعمه.
He was someone who was grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the various favors He's bestowed upon us. And so we find in this surah numerous reasons for us to think and reflect over the various blessings that Allah has bestowed upon us so that we can become grateful servants to Him. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes us from the shakirin, from those who are grateful to Allah and from those who appreciate His blessings. Wa jazakumullahu khairan.